Today we're going to see how a game of Civilization 6 turns out when 12 deity civs are placed in their true start locations throughout this beautiful Western Europe map by Fidel Casserole. It's linked in the description and I heavily encourage you to check it out for yourself if you think it looks fun. The map isn't super big, but with 12 civs crammed into it, we're going to expect some conquest, and I think that you're going to enjoy the video. If you do, don't forget to like it, subscribe to the channel, and ding the bell so you don't miss out on future Civ videos. Much smaller scope, but still in a, one of the more interesting portions of the map, in my opinion. So hopefully we're going to see some interesting stuff. There's only 12 civs, as I probably would have said in the intro, and hopefully that means that we will get better performance and maybe some fighting. We'll see how things go. Of course, the people on the edges of the map that are kind of squeezed together, like Athens over here and Pella, they're probably going to fight early on, and I imagine that it's going to be like, one or the other that will make it alive. And we do also have natural disasters cranked up to 5 just to see kind of if anything good comes of that. By good, I mean, chaotic. But you know what I mean. People like Matthias and Poland over here definitely have quite a bit of land to expand. But Barbarossa's here as well, so gotta keep an eye on them. Probably gonna be a decent bit of action in this area if I had to guess. Trajan has a crazy amount of land to expand into, so I have a feeling they're going to be very powerful, but again, lots of natural disasters to be keeping their eyes out for, which may slow them down. Fairly densely packed over here in the western portions of the map between Amsterdam, London, Paris, and whatever this is. We're probably going to see some early eliminations, at least I expect to. I'd be surprised if we didn't. And no colonization to speak of. Well, I mean, maybe North Africa, but aside from that, probably just gonna sit here, though Madrid's got quite a bit of land to expand into. Lisbon will probably be okay, but time will tell. Now, most civs have at least 2 cities down. We've got 2 for the Iberian nations, 2 over here, but it does look like Alexander is actually maybe even trying to go to war early with Pericles. Try to snag a city or 2, huh? Matthias is a little slow. We've actually got 3 cities for Poland and 3 cities for Barbarossa over here in Germany. So if they can get like all this land filled in, there is a lot of tiles that they could be harvesting, and that would be very good for them. We also have Wilhelmina over here looking good enough. Hopefully we'll hold on. The Polders could be pretty strong if they make it that long. And then over here on the British Isles, we did have a giant hurricane walking through here. I was getting a little concerned, but it doesn't look like it ended up hitting them. So for now, they're okay. We do indeed have an early war between Alexander over here, and it looks like Alexander's gotten an army, but there's actually quite a bit on both sides. A lot of resources being expended in this war that will slow them down from expanding their countries, but who knows? Alexander's pretty good at war. I think we all know that. Rome just settled their second city of Ostia up here. So all roads do lead to Rome, and some of them are covered in volcanic ash, but they all lead to Rome eventually. Matthias playing quite wide. 4 cities just snaking along the edge of the Carpathian Basin. Lots of land to grow into. 5 cities now. So Matthias is having a good run so far. We have Alexandria over here near like Thessaly. And for some reason, Alexander founded a city up here. I don't know if he's scared or what, but for some reason he's over here. It's going to put him at odds with Matthias, and it's probably not going to go well for him. Bad sign for Poland. We have a city lost to loyalty by the looks of it. So definitely something to keep an eye on. Meanwhile, Barbarossa playing tall, just letting the pops grow. And the Dutch over here are definitely getting some decent pops going already. Got some blizzards coming through the French lands, but it may not be much of an issue. Also growing quite a bit. 6 dev over here. Only 3 in Paris, so looks like something's been going on here. Maybe a little bit of war with the Dutch. Oh, wow, yeah, the English may end up coming away with it if they're just like undisturbed over here. Nobody wants to cross over into the islands and fight them, and they can just found a bunch of cities. Like, look at this. That is a lot of land that they're going to be able to harvest, and quite a bit of pops that I think they'll be able to grow. And if you guys don't know, pops allow you to control more tiles. More tiles lets you, build bigger armies and fund bigger armies. So might be a good call to bet on the English. That is, as long as, the weather allows it. The Spanish are definitely blobbing out over here, and the Portuguese are not so much. Looks like they're probably going to get squeezed in here, and the Spanish have a lot of armies just kind of walking around looking. So they may be looking to close out the Iberian Peninsula for themselves. Yeah, we have Lugdunum or whatever over here, but Italy is probably going to be a little sketchy. Don't think that aqueduct is going to be useful if it's carrying lava down it into the city. And the war between Pericles and Alexander ended inconclusively. Not really a big surprise, but so far so good for both of them. They're both doing pretty well, though. It looks like Alexander is probably going to be able to do better because they have a lot more land to grow into. That is, as long as they don't found cities that Matthias is just going to instantly snag like he did with this one. And Matthias has a lot of cities, without a doubt the most right now, up there with England, who is doing well. England is still doing well, and they've actually taken Utrecht from the Dutch, who have founded another city over here. And that is a bad side for Wilhelmina. Poland also losing cities to the Germans, and the Hungarians are literally right here, so doesn't look like Poland is going to be doing that well for long. I am just in awe at how many men Matthias has. That is crazy. This is a very well spaced out empire, so good on Matthias. Meanwhile, Rome is expanding with a bit of land over here in the Savoy area and a bit of land over here in Venetia, so they're definitely expanding, and their borders are looking pretty wide. And now they just need to fill them in and not die to natural disasters. Gaul is a bit slow, a little slow to take off here. The French are definitely kind of breathing down their neck. And we do have a Roman city over here in Iberia, so probably going to cause a little bit of border friction between them and the Spanish. And I think the Spanish would probably win at this point, so we'll see what happens with this one. The British have landed over in Utrecht, like I pointed out before, but now they're over here in Brittany, and they've just taken a 6-pop city from the French. So it definitely looks like England may run away with it. But there's still a ton of land to be filled in over here in Germany, as well as Bavaria area. Though Pericles over here, the definition of playing tall, dude's got 12 pops, 10 pops, and 2 pops over here in Rhodes, but probably not the best place to put a city, especially one that shouldn't even be here. It should be on an island, yeah? Though the islands of Sardinia and Sicily are still unclaimed, as is all of North Africa. Not a single nation in North Africa yet, except for the Spanish, who just landed a city. And it definitely looks like the Spanish are going to be the preeminent power over here in Iberia. They are currently in a war with Portugal, though we'll see if they actually take anything. I think these nations tend to skirmish a bit and then they declare peace. I don't know why, but maybe they're just trying to punch them for money. Very cool. We actually finally do have colonies going out for Portugal right next to a British one and a couple of Spanish ones, because Portugal's definitely getting the squeeze. Safe to say Spain is very much the regional power, but Caesarea has been settled over here, and we actually have a couple of cities over here on Sardinia, so there is a bit of colonization going on for the Romans as well. But yeah, the British are definitely coming. They took Paris, they also took Amsterdam, as well as these other 2 cities, and Wilhelmina is a 1-province minor over here in Rotterdam in central Germany. So probably not gonna last much longer, especially if Germany's going at them like I think they may be right now. Of course, right here, France right next door, not doing too well either, taking out some land from Gaul, but then losing some land to loyalty and, of course, the British. Pericles is just chilling down here, having his city knocked down a peg or 2 by volcanoes here and there, and aside from that, just doing nothing, because Alexander up here has set up the Great Wall of Alexandria. Literally, just all of them are Alexandria except for this one, and playing pretty solid. I mean, just chilling and growing. So Alexander doing okay. Matthias doing incredibly well, taking a bit of land over here from the Poles, and that's about it. I mean, the Poles are not really doing much. They definitely can be, but you can see that the Germans are encroaching, as is Matthias over here in Hungary. So they're pretty squeezed. Who knows? About halfway through, you can definitely see the regional powers are going to be Spain, England, and then Matthias. But Rome, I think, has a very respectable chance as well. The fact that they're as kind of spread out as they are may be detrimental to them. But yeah, you can see that southern France region, it is a total mess. Yeah, man, Pericles, just every time he sets something up, it just gets destroyed. The guy is very much not in a good spot. Look at all these wasted tiles over here, and just keeps getting worse and worse. And now that natural disasters are going to start taking up from flooding and all that stuff, I don't think Greece is going to be doing well. But not to worry, we have this Roman housing or whatever with some walls built up around it, preventing some flooding. So when it's all under, at least this one here, this one tile shall prevail. And finally, after 250 turns, we did get a city over here, Caesar Augusta, over here in Sicily. So that's pretty cool. But just look at all these Spanish cities dotting the North African coast. Actually insane. Rome lost this city to loyalty. No worries about that. Salamanca has been taken over. It was a Portuguese city. Norwich, we'll see, because I don't think England is struggling. I really, really don't think England is struggling. They've taken way more cities now, and they're all the way down into Le Bourg, or however you call this area, and they're going to probably be fighting with the Spanish before too long. And you can see here, we're in like early modern, so we're definitely going to be having some giant battles going on soon, especially as soon as the AI starts spamming out those giant death robots, because you guys know they absolutely love to spam those things out. The time of giant death robots is upon us. We have Matthias here, standing menacingly over here on the border of the Roman Empire. All things considered, things are pretty steady, though Wilhelmina, sadly, has left us. Does not look like Barbarossa is going to be around for much longer either, especially considering the many nations that are breathing down his neck. Somehow, someway, Gaul still exists. I don't know how. I don't think this settler is going to do him any good either, because all of his land is completely devastated. But yeah, the British have snaked around, and their border with Iberia is very much tenuous at best, and we're going to see a little bit more colonization going on, because Spain controls all of Iberia and all of North Africa. But the Romans, man, the Romans are absolutely doing wonderful. Poor Rhodes down here has existed for like 100 some terms and 7 pops, and it keeps on going up and going down, and they just can't catch a break. Poor city design, if you ask me. Meanwhile, Alexander here, living in the year 3000 with solar power and giant death robots, just as the Lord intended. Kind of crazy to think how solid his border with Matthias has been. I don't think it's really changed. I think he maybe lost this city here, but aside from that, like, they're just chilling. But Matthias has so many death robots. Like, I'm not kidding when I say they are spamming them out. And that is definitely going to make him very intimidating to the neighbors. Rip Gaul, hardly knew ya. Meanwhile, we got this city over here, very cold, if I had to guess. Just looking at the tech differences between the giant death robots over here and, you know, pike and shot for France. I don't think France is going to stick around too long either. Lots and lots of devastation going on in the French lands, no doubt about that. And it does look like Alexander finally decided to make a push here. Mycenae falling to Macedon. And though the city's on fire, at least they've got a rock band to raise morale or whatever. And lads and lasses, I regret to inform you that Barbarossa is also no more. Losing both cities to loyalty, of all things. Aachen, now a British possession. Truly the worst timeline. And yeah, I have a feeling that, like I mentioned before, the French probably not going to be French for too long. Though I very much will give props where props are due. Portugal has just like sat still, doing literally nothing for like 350 turns, and they're thriving. They're doing just fine. They did lose this one city here to the Spanish, but that's it. And Norwich down here, English possession, same thing, like 200 turns, just been sitting here, doing nothing, just collecting power or whatever. And 500 turns in, not really a clear winner, though I would say either Iberia or England. Matthias and the Roman Empire definitely get honorable mentions, and Poland with like Polish borders, it's pretty funny. France ended up hanging on, and I don't really know how they did it, to be honest with you, as did Pericles. Pericles managed to just, you know, hold still and not die. He lost 1/3 of his cities, but only 1/3. France definitely didn't like do anything impressive. They just got a bunch of machine guns, and that's about it. A lot of solar panel and a lot of machine guns, but no death robots, somehow doing okay. Roman Empire wins on style points alone, despite losing a lot of their coastline. They ended up just, you know, turning it into wind farms. And yes, our beautiful island city does still exist here. A little bit of noise pollution, but in the big scheme of things, I think it's worth it. Half of Greece went under the water. Rhodes ended up with 16 development, which is very respectable considering that it was getting erupted on like every 15 minutes. And I regret to inform the British that this is what's left of Ibiza. Sadly, you're gonna have to heckle other people for your holiday plans next time. So a bit of a mixed bag here. You can say, yes, Victoria and the English Empire do win because they have the most capitals. Military power is actually Trajan, I believe. So that is pretty cool there. Look at all these low little guys here. 1,000. So it's basically like a 3-way tie, which definitely makes sense compared to what I was kind of expecting it to be. Obviously Victoria will take the cake because she is the one leading in terms of score. You can see Philip is in the number 1 spot, tied just a little bit ahead of Victoria with Trajan in the 3rd spot. So a little bit of a trade-off here, a little bit of Spain, a little bit of England, but you know, either way, I think we can call it a GG. Victoria has 4 capitals compared to none for anybody else, so Victoria collecting those capitals. And yeah, this one went way smoother than the previous ones. Having only like 10 to 12 civs on the map made wonders for my processor. It didn't absolutely just choke and die most of the time. So if you enjoyed this one and you want to see more, make sure you leave a comment down below. Let me know a map suggestion if you have one. Leave a like if you haven't already, and don't forget to subscribe for more content like this to come. I do enjoy doing these Civ videos. The last one didn't do so well in terms of views, so I just want to make sure that I'm making content that people want to see. So like I said before, if you got a suggestion, leave it in the comments. And I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day.
Special thanks to Kaiser Dar of Acadia, Sheol, Gamus23, Ian Powell, Hannon Fodder, Josh Kopczynski, Agent Rhino, Blonde Damon, Isaiah, Rover, Bubba J, Saranska, Ricardo, Cobalt, Rex, Nathan Albright, and many more.